What is up, everybody, and welcome to the video. In today's video we're going to be covering the changes that were just made to the 7.1.5 PTR here on Tuesday, November 29th. So first off, we got a new talent here on the level 15 tier called Amplification. And basically it's kind of like the old Temporal Flex what we used to have here, but for Arcane Missiles. So Arcane Missiles now deals an additional 15% damage per Arcane Charge you have. So basically when you're sitting at 4 stacks, you're going to get 60% increased damage on your Arcane Missiles. And that is huge. Like, Arcane Missiles already hit harder than Arcane Blast, like per tick. Like if you got a full channel off, it would hit harder than Arcane Blast. But with this, it's just going to be insane. Like on the PTR with Arcane Power Up, I was hitting non-crit Arcane Missiles for about 90 to 95k. I mean, that is huge. Combine that with your artifact talent that has a chance to proc 3 extra missile ticks. I mean, you can essentially take out about 35% of somebody's health in one channel. So, I mean, if you save up a couple of those stacks and you get some crits in there, I mean, you're just going to be wearing down people in burst in a matter of seconds, which is going to be really nice. I'm kind of glad to see that they're bringing Arcane Missiles back as the hard hitter and just the really, potent spell that mages can fall back on for just some really high damage if they don't necessarily have any cooldowns rolling. But let's move on here. So Mana Shield, it got a bit of a pretty big buff. I've been testing it out and I definitely like this buff. Prismatic Barrier, what it used to do is it would drain your mana by 50% of the damage you took. So if you absorbed 1 million damage, you would get 500,000 mana drained. But they buff this, so only about 20% of your mana is taken away based on the damage you do, which is pretty huge. So basically, mana pools in Arena, I want to say, are 1.2 million roughly for an Arcane Mage. Basically, if you spend half your mana pool just spamming the Mana Shield, just to live while your healer CC'd or something like that, you could basically absorb up to about 3 million damage by only sacrificing half your mana pool. And I know half, that sounds like insane, like, Smart, what are you talking about? Only half your mana pool? That's like pretty much all your damage there. But we'll move on later, guys, and I'll show you why it's not going to matter as much. But yeah, Slipstream here got it replaced Presence of Mind. So basically, your Arcane Missiles and Evocation can be channeled while moving, kind of like a permanent Icy Flows for those two spells there. This one I feel like is going to be kind of sitting in the back seat for a while, just because Arcane Missiles, like, they're still pretty hard to fish for. I haven't been getting that many of them in arenas, and Evocation is just such a long spell, like, or a long cooldown spell. It's not like you're casting it all the time, so I value Shimmer way over Slipstream pretty much at this point. The only reason you'd even go with that is just to get Blink while you can blink out of stuns, but even then, Mana Shield would just be better off. So yeah, let's see. Down here, the only other changes going on are Temporal Flex got moved from the level 30 tier talent down to level 100 talent, and it basically replaced Quickening. So Temporal Flex, it still does the same thing. For every Arcane Charge you have, you get 5% reduced cast time on your Arcane Blast. So basically, when you're sitting at 4 stacks, you have 20% reduced cast on Arcane Blast. But I really haven't, found a. It's not like it used to be as good as it was. Like when it was up here, you would be able to combine it with Overpower, but now that's not really the case. So you got Amplification to fall back on. It's a nice little talent. Like I said, I'll probably play around with it somewhat, but for right now, it's kind of sitting in the backseat for this tier talent. Overpowered, we all knew it was coming. It got a bit of a nerf, but not overly huge. Instead of increasing your damage done by 100%, it only increased your damage done by 70%, which is still pretty huge. Up from 30, that's still a good amount of damage. It's not like it's bad anymore. I've still been going with it on the PTR pretty much all the time. And your mana cost also is obviously reduced by 70%. And this is kind of tying into why we don't need mana as much and why something like Mana Shield can still be like really viable. So 70% mana cost, I was basically casting Arcane Blast for about 4% of my mana, which is pretty crazy, when normally in PvP it's about 12% of your mana. So that's going to be really nice, especially paired with the next talent that got buffed here I'll show you in a second over on the PvP side. So we had a couple changes here, but I'll start off with time anomaly. It used to be every 5 seconds you have a 5% chance to randomly proc arcane power and get some arcane charges, but now every 5 seconds it's a 50% chance to proc arcane power. And I mean, this is just insane for the amount of uptime that we're going to have. Like, fuck these other two talent choices, concentrate power, like who cares, extra 10% burst. Yeah, we don't need it now with overpowered right now. And Torment of the Week it was pretty nice, basic kind of a base damage buff by 15% because you could always keep a slow up. But Time Anomaly, I mean, yeah, with this talent, the uptime on Arcane Power is just insane. I mean, I've had, a few dry spells here and there where I'll go for like 20 seconds or 25 seconds without getting a proc, but I mean, normally you can rely on one every about 20 seconds, I want to say. So, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, when you can get these random procs, and if you have a couple of missiles or maybe Presence of Mind that you didn't use on your initial burst, or maybe you get a proc early on so you can hold on to your on-demand burst and just use that another time. It's just so strong, guys. I mean, this is gonna be the new go-to pretty much in every single situation. But yeah, the only other change going on here is Cloak of Protection. So it used to be this talent was just the increase to your barrier, like now your ice barrier only absorbs physical damage but absorbs more. Now they're kind of veering towards giving us some dot protection, which is really nice because I mean temporal shield is already nice for the just burst damage to avoid, and now cloak protection is really nice for the just steady damage. So it's making us more versatile. But basically, yeah, 20% less damage we take with damage over time effects. It's going to help us against Shadow Priest, Affliction Warlocks, maybe Boomies, or even Unholy DKs. So it's just, more protection for us. It'll be something that I'm sure will come in handy a lot in 3v3. 2v2 I'll probably still go with Temporal Shield unless I face just a Rot Cleave. But yeah, it's just nice to see that we're getting more versatility here. So let's move on to kind of the last changes here. Not a whole lot I still want to cover, but the main change is Presence of Mind becoming baseline. Just so nice to see that again, just like it was in WoD. It's something that I definitely missed, like having to choose between that and Shimmer. I was always going with Shimmer. Presence of Mind was definitely missed for a while, but we got it back, boys. So, and lastly here, I think it's lastly, yeah, Prismatic Barrier got a bit of a buff. It used to be, 30-second duration, 30-second cooldown, just absorption shield that really wasn't that great or strong to begin with. It's still pretty weak, but I mean, it's a 280k shield or roughly in PvP. But they buffed it up to a 60-second duration, which is actually huge for arenas. So now we can actually cast it on ourselves before we get out the gate, and it won't be dispelled. Like, that was a big problem before. You'd have to wait till the gates open, otherwise the mana shield would just be taken off you by the arena clearing buffs. So now we can cast it early and just get that cooldown rolling on. So now instead of a 30-second cooldown, it's down to 25 seconds, but it's just that nice little extra absorb at the start of every fight. So now we basically have two charges of it. Like, you'll have one going into the fight, and then after that one wears off, you'll have your next one all ready to go. So, but yeah, I think that's pretty much all the changes that are going on. Oh, other than Ice Block, instead of a 5-minute cooldown, it's 4 minutes now baseline, which is pretty nice. It's nothing that I'm going to be noticing a whole lot, but it'll be just that little bit extra. I'm sure in those longer games you'll definitely feel it. But yeah, awesome changes overall. I'm enjoying it a lot. Giving mages more utility with Presence of Mind baseline and mana shield buffs, and yeah, I mean, more missile damage. Definitely enjoying it overall. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy these last few games here I got for you. And until next time, this is Bart out.
Feeling the sun, party done, shadows walking home. Walking with a game on. You are my kind, classic mind, and you look so fine. rock and roll, see your fingers shake. And getting through your heartbreak, some kind of free, same for me, don't know what I need. Don't doubt me, babe, you make me wanna change. Break my bed to make me wanna stay. I can't vibe me, babe, you make me love the pain. Break my bed to make me wanna stay. I can't. When you say it like that, got me falling right back, when you say it like that, let me fuck you right back, got me falling right back. Get in the door, silent walk, was the first to speak. Speaking like a real freak, voice in my head, in my bed, filled with you instead. Taking your time, work my mind, and I'll play with you. And play pretend it's all true. Follow me down, listen round to that deep dark sound. Don't doubt me, babe, you make me wanna change. Break my bed to make me wanna stay. I can't vibe me, babe, you make me love the pain. Break my bed to make me wanna stay. I can't. When you say it like that, got me falling right back, when you say it like that, let me fuck you right back, let me fuck you right back. When you say it like that, got me falling right back, let me fuck you right back. When you say it like that, let me fuck you right back.
Sometimes the harder you try, the longer it takes. Try to make something that's real, that you know is fake. The thing that you want the most won't come when it's cold. If you grab something too hard,